friends, happy Wednesday. It is October the 4th and it is What's Up Wednesday. And here on my Facebook page, what we do on What's Up Wednesday is we come up with some kind of project that might be top of mind for me, or an idea or a tip or some kind of technique. And I had been looking up on my shelf at this box for quite a while and realizing it's been a while since I did a 2, 4, 6, 8 box. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. So this box measures 6 inches by 2 inches. So 6 inches long by 2 by 2. And you can put all kinds of little treats in there. These would be lovely at your Thanksgiving or Christmas tables with little treats in it. You could probably get a small bottle of any kind of hand cream type thing, something that's no more than the 2 inch by 2 inch here. And anyway, I will leave it all up to you what you want to slip into these cute little boxes, and I'm going to show you how to make it. So here's one I made last week, just in preparation with some of our newer product, and it is really cute. Same layout. So let me know in the comments if you're here watching live or on the replay, and thank you for joining me. I'm Diane, the Creative Inkster. I'm an Independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and let's get started. So the first thing you need is some kind of scoring tool. I'm going to use my Simply Scored. You could also use your paper trimmer with the scoring blade. I'm going to give you the measurements. The first thing you want to grab is a piece of regular cardstock. So you don't need 12 by 12. An 8.5 by 11 is going to work. Oops, these are those cheapo Post-it notes, so they like curl. Okay, so you need a piece of cardstock that is 8.5 by 10.5. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer here. So it's 8.5 across is your standard measurement, and it's 11 inches, so I need to cut it down to 10.5. I'm just going to double check that I didn't do that already. Here we go. So I'm going to cut it down to 10.5. Here we go. So I'm going to get rid of that little piece. And now I'm going to go with my Simply Scored for the scoring. So you're going to put it in with the short side up first. So short side, no, so I'm sorry, the long side up first. And we are going to score at 1/2 an inch. Let me get my thing out here to double check. That doesn't look right. What are you doing? Okay, this made a lot of sense. 2, 4, 6, 8. What in the world? 1/2, 2, and oh, I see. I missed a measure in the center. Okay, so just going to have to follow my lead. So you've got your piece here. I'm just double checking. So it was 2, 4.5, and 6.5, and 1/2 an inch. Okay, with the 8.5 inch side up, you're going to score at 1/2 an inch. It's always a little bit difficult to get in on that side. And then you're going to score at 2.5, 4.5, and 6.5. That's along the short side, 8.5 inch side. And then with this 1/2 inch strip at the top, and this is kind of important just for placement afterwards, you want to now score at with it like this, you're going to want to score, okay, something is definitely not right here. What? Okay, just bear with me, don't look at those numbers. I have no idea what I did. Okay, so with the long side up, you're going to score at 1.5. Sorry, I'm going to score at 1/2. I'm honestly doing just fine today. 2.5. This is live video, folks. And 8.5. I think my notes were right all along. I just had them backwards in my head. All right, so let's revamp. Along the short side, you're going to score at 1/2 an inch, 2.5, 4.5, and 6.5. Then you're going to turn it 90 degrees, and you're going to score along the long side at 1/2, 2.5, and 8.5. Boom. Now we're going to do some cutting. We're going to take some segments out. And actually what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to draw them out with a marker on my paper so you can take a screenshot. So let's get the score, simply scored out the way. And here's what we are going to get rid of. So with that thin 1/2 inch, you got your long piece in front of you, okay? And with that 1/2 inch strip at the top, we are going to get rid of this small little rectangle over here. And we are going to get rid of these 2 pieces, the square and the other rectangle here. So you're only going to have this segment in the middle. Okay? Then you're going to turn it 90 degrees, and once again, you have that thin 1/2 inch strip along here, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. We're going to keep the first rectangle. We're going to take off the next rectangle, this rectangle, and this rectangle. And we're also going to take out this square. Okie dokie. So that is the screenshot you want to know for making this up. Alrighty, so I'll leave that there for a second. This here is the bottom, and that is the bottom of your box. And you're going to snip up all 4 of those lines. So let's do that. We're going to take our paper snips and cut up this length here. We're going to cut this rectangle off completely because we don't need it. And then we're going to go straight up here. 3 times, 3 more times. Goodness. All right, so those are our little flappies. That's so we can make the bottom of our box. On the top end, we're going to cut these X'd areas out. So this rectangle and the square at the top come completely out. And what you might want to do on this little rectangle that we've kept on here is just do a little mitering. And by that I just mean the angle does not matter. Just cut in a little bit from the center, just a small little wedge out. Now this is the bottom where we cut up the little flaps. Turn it 90 degrees to the left, and we're going to cut out some more rectangles. So we're going to cut out the 3 here to the right, and then we'll cut that square after. You could put this on your paper trimmer instead of using your scissors. If you have long scissors, I feel like that works a little bit better. I don't. I just have my paper snips, which work quite well for me. And then we're going to take out this square in here. And then from our 8.5 by 10.5, the rest is what we have left over. And actually this piece, it's easier if you fold it up for cutting it off and fold this one away from you. You can get in there and cut it along. You could keep this piece for doing the little decoration on the front as the layered decoration. The rest of the pieces are all garbage. All right, so this is what we are left with. Here is my template on the left. Here is the blueberry bushel one that I've cut on the right. Alrighty, let's put this guy together. So we're going to fold our small flap in here, and we're going to burnish it, and then we're going to pull it back, and with it horizontal in front of us with that little tab there, we're going to fold the next segment and burnish it and pull it back. The next segment, burnish, pull it back, and the last segment, burnish and pull it back. There we go. Now we're going to go to the bottom. That's these 4 flaps here. Put that in front of us, and we're going to burnish those 4 flaps. Some people like to miter these up or trim them in a little bit as well. The only thing I find is that I forget which one's the bottom, and then I might have a little edge cut out of it, so I kind of tend to not do that myself. And then on the top, which is the edge that has one square cut out, we're gonna, we're also going to cut down here. So there should be 3 tabs, one with a little extra rectangle. So we're just going to fold and burnish those inwards. And that little tab will fold it in as well. Now the little wee tab might need a little bit of trimming in as well. I find that if we're going to get it to fit within this little edge here, we need to have the 2 right and left trimmed down a wee bit. So let's do that. 1, 2. There we go. Alrighty. Now we're ready for tear and tape, which is, or your liquid glue, but I like to use tear and tape on this project. Alright, so what we're going to do, this is our top, the 4 pieces intact that are cut up the edges. That's our bottom. We are going to put some adhesive on this side, not this side, fold it over this side of the flap, and then we're going to fold this over to join them. That's how we're going to join this together. So let's get our tear and tape. We'll put it down the edge of that 1/2 inch piece. There we go. We can peel off the backing. And with it on my left, fold it over, I'm going to grab the right side and marry it up here. And it should just line up quite perfectly. If your scoring and measuring worked out well, and now it's starting to look a bit like a box. Okay, by popping it up. The bottom, let's close up the bottom. Now what I like to do is keep in mind where my seam is. This is where I pulled that piece over and stuck it down. That's the back, and I also know it's the back because at the top, this is where that little tab is that's going to go in. So working from the bottom, I want, if this is going to be the back coming over, I want this piece to fold last. So I will put the left and right in first, then the bottom one, and then the top one, so that the open edge is also at the back where the other open edge is. And if you didn't get that, don't worry. Not a perfect requirement. So yeah, you can tape every single one if you want. Let's do that. I don't often do that, but so the first one going in, so we're going to put some tape on all of them. One, that's going to go in. That's going to go in. Put just a little tape, and that's the back. So this is going to go in last. I'm going to put 2 pieces on that. You can do this as you go, as you fold them. So in, up, and down. Okay, so take the backing off. I just tend to put the right one in first. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to put my right one in first. My left one goes over to meet it. And I'm going to peel this backing off. I'm going to push the bottom up. And then this is the front, and it's coming down. Take those pieces off as well. And push that down. There we go. So there's our box. And then this is going to slide in here. So you might want to see, just if you needed to, miter it a little bit more. If you maybe need to trim these little pieces down. When you're scoring, I find that you may not cut right up that score line, as I didn't do here. And then that little 1/16 of an inch can make a little bit of a difference on your box on how well it will close. So just take a look for that. It can take a little haircut. That's why you have these really sharp paper snips, so you can give paper a little haircut if it needs it. There we go. And then this will slide in like that. And nice. And there it is. So then to decorate, I've got some garden walk paper. Pull my paper trimmer out here. And these pieces, we need 4 of them. They are 1 3/4 inch wide and 5 3/4 inch long. So I do have an actual up and down pattern on here. So I'm going to turn it to the left. I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch off here because it's 6 inches long. I'm going to cut this down to 5 3/4. And then I'm going to do the same with the other piece because I'm going to need to cut into 2 pieces. I'm going to cut 1 3/4. So I need 4 panels. There's 1. Here's a second one at 1 3/4. 2, 3. And you've got this piece left, which would be lovely on a card, either or. So I'm going to hang on to that piece for a card project. And then this is 5 3/4 long. I'm going to cut the 4th one at 1 3/4. And then I'm going to cut one piece at 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So I'll cut it this way first. And you could put one on the bottom if you really wanted to, but I'm just going to put one on the top. And then that'll finish it off nicely. And I've still got some pieces left for cards. So we'll grab our glue, pull our box back in. There's the front. Let's get the top on there. And if you have a pattern that is an obvious up and down, then you just want to be mindful of that when you glue it down. There we go. Get this one down here. And it might have been easier, but because I use liquid glue, I don't find it a problem at all to glue it down once I've made the box. Sometimes I'm worried I'm going to cut the box weird, and so I'd rather glue the pieces down afterward. And then you just want to take a peek, which is a great reason to be using liquid glue because you can wiggle it up and down a little bit. But just take a peek if you need to move it down just a hair to be in line. Here we go. We're almost done on this pretty project. Now you can make a lot of these in no time at all. Just grab your pattern paper, and from there, whatever pattern you want, find some coordinating colors in it and go grab that piece of cardstock. You could also do all your boxes in white, and then whatever paper, or vanilla, whatever paper you use is going to be suitable. And I think these would just really make a lovely table decoration or a little gifty for each person at the table. There we go. All right, now we need a little more decoration. We're not done yet. I grabbed my For You stamp, which comes from Layering Leaves, one of my faves. I love all the greetings in here, and the corresponding blueberry bushel ink. I've already done a small circle here. I'll put that on there, and then we're going to grab a little bit bigger circle. This is from Stylish Shapes, and then this is the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. And there I had that piece that I had used there. I can just kind of slide it in and use that X marks the spot piece so we don't have any waste. And this just kind of fits just ever so much over top. And if you're worried that someone might see your X, of course you wouldn't have to do the X. I can put that over top and you cannot see that through. So that's the way that I'm going to do it. Where's my glue? We'll glue the white stitched circle down. And grab some coordinating ribbon. So for this, I chose Real Red. This is from the Real Red and Crumb Cake, I think it is, pack. It's a combo pack of 2 ribbons. Perfect for the red in this. This is actually Poppy Parade, but the Real Red looks perfect with it. So then I'll just take my ribbon and cut it however long I think I need it in order to make a bow. And that'll dress it up a little bit. I've also done the bows top to bottom as well. It's a lot of extra ribbon, but you know, when you're trying to use up your ribbon stash, that may not be a bad idea. Here's a little tip if you aren't concerned about moving your ribbon around. So you can take a glue dot and stick it behind your knot, and that holds it in place when you're trying to tie your bow. Just makes it a lot easier if you're fumbling a little bit with doing your bows. Alrighty then. Here we go. There's our bow. I'll try and get the one going one way and one going the other. And I'll just trim those ribbon pieces down a little bit. There we go. Oh, that one could be a little bit shorter. Alrighty. Even that up a little. There we go. And then take a glue dot and stick that on the greeting, and boom, this is done. So right now I'm working with a whole bunch of mini glue dots as I await the arrival of more dimensionals, as I await the arrival of more dimensionals. There we go. Super. And that just goes on here, so I think I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Good thing I didn't put a glue dot behind it, so I can adjust. And then you can add whatever other embellishments you want, and you've got your little box done. How cute is that? It does, it holds a lot. All right, there we go, folks. That's it for me for What's Up Wednesday. I hope you have a wonderful week and a beautiful Thanksgiving weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye now.